How's it going, Vikings fans? Welcome back into another episode of the Wednesday night Skol Experience with
Let's
Jamie,
go.
Sports Podcast, and Dave of Minnesota Sports Talk. Fellas, how are we doing this evening?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Yep.
Good.
Just what do we have? How many? Is anybody counting down the days until training camp?
What is it? End of July, right?
I don't know.
End of July, about a month, a little over.
Yeah, we got over a month. So we got a long time. So we're in our second week of nothing going on, pretty much. But we're grinding through. Let me make some shout outs right here. Angler looks like he was in here almost a couple hours earlier. He's the Packer fan.
Imagine that, a Packer fan talking trash, but nobody else can talk back. Cool.
Right, exactly. Bob Swede, what is going on, dude? Skol. Let's get this party started. Let's go, Gary. Let's go. Let's win you a card today. Again, of course, just like every show, giving away Justin Jefferson rookie card. Hashtag Skol in the comments. Like the video and subscribe to our channels. Everything is in the description below. My worthless opinion. Skol, what is going on? Mike Sports Vibe. Skol brother, what is going on? And Michael O, nice to see you in here, man. Let me jump right back in here real quick. Gary, thoughts on the burgers and fries from the Anchor Bar in Superior, Wisconsin? Well, you came to the right place because I've had that place a tons of times. So first off, my question, Gary, if you're listening right now, how do you even know about the Anchor Bar? Unless, I know you're out of Minnesota somewhere, but that's interesting. What's your take on the Anchor Bar real quick?
Unless you're a fellow Duluthian like us, but I've only been there a couple times, but man, hard to complain. It's good stuff. Oh, hey, there he is. Okay, never mind. He's back. I would say back to defend his trash talk.
Real quick about the Anchor Bar. So some people would say their burgers are overrated. Maybe like if you were just to get a regular cheeseburger, their fries are really good. The thing that they do that they're kind of known for is their jalapeno cream cheeseburgers or their olive cream cheeseburgers. So if you were to ever go there and make sure to get a jalapeno cream cheeseburger, olive cream cheeseburger, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. And it's probably the reason why they're known to have one of the best burgers there. What's going on, Yogi? Skol, Killer Gaming. Oh, okay, that's all their Packer fan, I believe, right?
No,
so we got the Packer fans. We need our troops in full swing right now. We need our troops in full swing for this video because we're gonna have there's gonna be some Packer talk on here at some point. I promise you that for sure.
Which will then lead into Twitter talk in the last couple of days, which will then probably dominate the show, talking about two wide receivers, one who's amazing and the other one who jury's out. But anyway, that's for the conversation for a later time.
Yeah. People, Anchor Bar, people are what? I don't know what you're saying.
I don't know either.
The Packers have 10 times a better roster. Obviously, we know that's not true. First off, they got like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, probably. Pretty close, yeah. Do we want to jump into our tier list right away? Or there's not tons to BS. There's not much going on here other than, I don't know if we talked about it. We talk about Justin Jefferson. The Vikings aren't, they're not in a rush to extend Justin Jefferson because
we haven't talked about it. I have.
Yeah, we've also talked about it. We haven't talked. What's your thoughts on that, Dave?
Well, my video is about, not dragging your feet and making it more expensive,
Yeah.
It's not going to get any cheaper.
Right. With Jamar Chase available to get an extension after next season, if they decide to go pay him, I'm assuming he's going to end up being the highest paid non-quarterback, probably, even if Justin Jefferson gets paid this year. So I agree with you on that. It's just going to get more and more expensive. So you might as well get it all the way. And plus, you should make him happy. He's literally had the best start of a season or a career ever by a wide receiver.
Absolutely. What? So his first season he had 1,400 yards, then 1,600, then 1,800. So we all know what's next. Breaking records. And if he has a 2,000-yard season, his price tag, I feel like that goes a little bit higher than what it was at.
He's no Christian Watson or anything, It's like
he's not because he's good.
I don't, you can't really pay him what Christian Watson's worth. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You can't put him in like a Packer receiver category or anything like that.
Yeah, At least one of these wide receivers can catch a ball and the other one can't. We know that for sure. And we all know Justin Jefferson can catch a pass because Bills game. That's all you know. Packer fans know. You say Justin Jefferson, they think Bills game. You say Christian Watson, they think drop pass against the Vikings. So that's a big difference already.
I don't know. Do we have any Packer fans out there that could help us figure out who's worth more, Christian Watson or Justin Jefferson? I don't know. Do we have anybody in the chat?
Where's our Viking fans in the chat? Let's go.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Let's go, Gary.
You guys just letting the Packers fan dominate the chat. That's not good. But yeah, anyway, let's hop right into that tier list, huh?
Yeah, let's do it. We're not gonna have as much time today. I have to go pick my wife up from work. I mean, we still got quite a bit of time, but most Vikings fans know. All right, let's jump into it. Let's do our tier list. So we're going to do a tier list of our top five moves by Kwesi and our top 5 best moves by Kwesi and our top worst moves by Kwesi.
Oh, little Twins update. Byron Buxton home run tied the game. Let's go.
Hey, you guys were bitching about how he can't hit.
He's hearing the talk. He's hearing the talk. Comparing Watson to JJ isn't worth it. You're right. Worthless.
Little Byron action here.
Hey, we need him to go off.
Hey, there we go. Now
we're be another one of these main event players as long as Rocco's the manager.
Let's go.
If you guys think, we don't talk the Twins at all, right? But yeah, you should, check out what I think about Rocco sometime. My channel actually started out talking Twins and Vikings, and after about 5 Twin shows, I went full on Vikings. But yeah, I'm glad I did that because I would be like rap, Kirk, on high level as I would be towards Rocco. That's exactly my level of hate.
On my other channel, like my 3rd video was a fire Rocco Baldelli video after we lost to after we got swept by the Astros in that wild card playoff series.
Yeah, they're holding strong to that one for sure.
Anyway, but that's actually where the inspiration for this whole list came out. Because we were talking about Rocco and Dave brought up the idea, since Rocco makes a ton of terrible decisions, has Kwesi made any terrible decisions yet? And that's where the whole thing came from. So
and that's what we're going to do.
A little bit of tie-in with the Minnesota Twins.
Yep. So we got a tier list. We changed it up a little bit, made it a little bit better visually, I would say, for people in here. I didn't like the other tier list. It kind of sucked. So we're going to rock in this one. So what are we're going to start with worst decisions or best decisions? So
you got to end on a high note. So I'd say let's get the bad out of the way first.
The 5 worst decisions. All right. What are we thinking? Are we going to go 1 through 5?
Or do we go worst, best, worst, best, worst, best, all the way up to 1? Nah, we won't do that.
Here, let me do a little quick breeze through on these photos here. So for the best, we got hiring KOC, which obviously is huge because I know people will say Hawkinson, but you can't forget about the idea of the KOC hire. But then trading for TJ Hawkinson, Kwesi figuring out what to do with the salary cap. He's figuring out the salary cap for how Rick Spielman left it when he left. And, you can say a lot of things about Kwesi and how he's been handling free agency and all that stuff. One thing is for sure is we did not have a lot of money, and somehow he's able to figure things out to the point now where we're like 20 million above. I think we have like 20 million in cap space almost after the Delvin Cook stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think 19.
Yeah, it was like 19 or something like that.
19 or something. And then we got the Zadarius Smith signing, which obviously we still don't have him on his team, but or we don't have him on the team anymore. But at the time, we got one of the best defensive ends in free agency, who also we got an absolute steal for him, which is part of the reason why, he was disgruntled in the first place. So, I mean, that's something to be noteworthy. I mean, that was a steal from Kwesi. That was some next level shit from Kwesi, I thought. It sucks to see this one kind of hurts a little bit. Adam Thielen on the best list for Kwesi stepping up and making hard decisions and choices. With Adam Thielen and Eric Kendricks having to go, but the one that did stay was him retaining Harrison Smith, especially when you bring a guy like Flores into the team here, and to see what he can do with a guy like Harrison Smith. I think they're a perfect match for each other. There's a lot of other free agent signings, like Davenport and Oliver, but we decided to roll with Byron Murphy here. And then we have an other. So if there's anything that we're missing that you like more than that, obviously we can put that into the top 5 potentially. As far as worst goes, is the trade for Jalen Reagor. This kind of goes to the Kyle Hamilton thing. A lot of things kind of go into this trade with the Lions trading back from 12 to 32. Is that what it was? For not enough capital, probably.
I'll disagree when we get to. I'll have a minor disagreement when we get to that.
Of course. Let Casey stick up for the line.
No, I'm going to stick up for us by. I'm going to stick up for us by saying that 34 is basically a first round pick, just cheaper.
Adding multiple void years to Cousins' contract might be a red flag to some. That's a good point. Yeah, that could be a good point. And then we have, where was that? Packers trading back with the Packers. This is where the whole Christian Watson thing, you shouldn't be comparing him to JJ. That's just stupid, but Packer fans are. But you could argue, was that a good trade for us? I thought we had good value in that trade, actually, but we need to see more from Andrew Booth. And what we got was Ed Ingram, the other player in that trade. And then,
yep. For that one, yeah.
And then we have drafting in general, the draft as a whole, where obviously there's not really any bona fide players coming out of any of Kwesi's drafts yet. We have some high hopes for guys like Asamoah, and hopefully Andrew Booth steps up. Lewisine coming back. We got Addison now, but there's nothing like for sure he's been a great drafter in any ways. I like him more as a free agency and the cap stuff more than as someone who's been drafting. The next one, we got Danielle Hunter, a situation that we feel like's taken too long for Kwesi to figure out, whether not even just him. You can probably put Zadarius Smith in this and the Delvin Cook situation in here as well, since Delvin Cook, we were close to a trade with Miami earlier in the offseason and it ended up not happening. So we kind of lumped that in one with Danielle Hunter. The trade for Blacklock after releasing Armon Watts, that didn't really work out. And then I put Shelley in here, not after having a really looking pretty damn good at the end of the season last year. We ended up deciding not to re-sign Duke Shelley. And then, of course, another other.
All right. Sounds good. So are we going a 5-1 type of?
What do you think? I think
that'd be the best idea. 5-1.
5-1.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think let's start with the worst and then do the best after.
Yeah, let's end with positive note.
Yeah.
So we want to start with the 5th instead of like the worst move he made.
No, the 5th would be the worst move. No, it wouldn't. You're right.
No, number 1 is the worst.
Yeah, so we'll do it that way. Yeah, we'll go 5-1 still. We'll be fine.
What's going on, Dan? What's going on? All right. So what are we thinking? What is the worst move that Kwesi has made as the GM of the Minnesota Vikings?
See, that's
what we're thinking here.
Tough. I think.
Oh, it's definitely well. I mean, the Lions trade had some attributes because if we didn't do that, I don't think we would have got as many players in that draft.
Well, and me and Jamie actually kind of referenced that in a video that'll be dropping tomorrow. Is how with that trade it did net us Asamoah. So if he does end up being a starter, and then you get something from Lewisine, it's going to look a lot better, especially since so far Jameson Williams has been hurt. Plus he's going to be out for 6 games because of the gambling thing. So I'm
thinking Reagor.
So we got one Reagor.
He didn't give up a lot for Reagor. That's the thing, right?
Kind of a 5th and originally a 4th, but then it turned into a 5th and 7th.
Right.
That felt right now, looking back for a guy that most people feel like he shouldn't even be on this team anymore.
Well, he hasn't made
That's a
horrible
swing and
moves,
miss.
so it's like it's tough to
It's not
tell.
too
But I
bad.
would say, okay, I'm gonna go with he didn't get enough. The trade for the Lions, he did not get enough back.
I'm going to the Lions. That's my number one as well. The Lions are my number one.
I personally, I don't think it was as bad as people made it out to be, because 34. I mean, I know we traded that
Well,
one.
again, these
But
aren't all
34
terrible moves,
right.
right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go with like worst move, I'm gonna say probably Blacklock is the worst player out of all these
Yeah.
things. Like
No.
we got that absolutely no return on that trade
Right.
because
But-
Blacklock is awful.
But I just look at that Lions one, and with pick 34,
Is
you
ECG in the chat? Can I say a player's awful? I mean, I don't know. I'm like, now I'm reading his comment, so I'm like, now I'm checking to see if I can talk in these
I don't know.
videos.
I just think that, like, pick 34, it is technically a first round pick because there's more than 32 first round talent players. I know we didn't pick there, but I mean, I didn't hate that trade as much as others did. I mean, it would have been nice with how far we fell to get something a little better, I think, obviously, but
I think it's to me, it's the Lions, 100%. Let's see if this works. Anybody who's in our video, I just posted I just posted a live poll between.
already going.
I wish it was going to show in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, we posted a poll in our chat, Dave, for what's worst move, Lions or Rager. Right now, Lions is winning with 67%, and Rager is winning with 33%.
So I think we
What's going
probably
on,
just give
Skol
it another
Mafia? Blacklock,
5,
definitely. He stole
4.
money from the Vikings. In my
Lions
opinion,
are at 75%. So I think the Lions thing. I mean, if you're looking at all these in like retrospect and kind of looking at it, but then again, if you're going to say that, could you put the draft at number one in general then? Because these trades are part of the bigger picture, which hasn't given us one solid starter that we're 100% sure on yet.
Yeah, I mean, you could put. When I look at the draft, I do kind of look more of it of who he drafted, which you can say, like, that's why I think even the Lions thing, like, yeah, we don't know, like, yeah, we got Asamoah, but Asamoah still has a lot to prove. Lewis Seen got hurt. We didn't get to see enough of him, but he didn't start week 1 or anything like that. Andrew Booth continued to get hurt. Nobody's came out really other than our punter to come out and be like a for sure starter.
Right.
So I think trading back and what we got from the Lions so far has to look like has to be a big L
and you can lump in Yogi's comment from earlier that obviously we didn't, like, Kyle Hamilton ended up being one of the top safeties in the league. And the fact that we could have just taken him at 12, which in many mock drafts when he was there at 12, we took him. So if you think about if you add that in as well, everything kind of packaged together, I'm fine with that. Again, I was one that was a little more like okay with the trade. Like I wasn't like full on red in the face, throwing things, swearing at people on Twitter. But in this instance, with all that lumped together, I can see that. I'm fine with that one.
All right. So what are we thinking for number 2? Are we gonna? So obviously we're kind of between the Lions and the Rager trade with between those two. Are we feeling that? Are we feeling Rager at number 2?
I mean, to me, the Rager one wasn't that big of a disappointment. I mean,
well,
it was
okay.
We had no punt return, so at least with him, there's a chance for something. It didn't necessarily work out.
I'll put Blacklock above him. Rager, like Casey's saying, we needed a punt returner.
What is? Obviously, we also needed. We released Armin Watts, so we needed a 3 or.
We already had Bullard.
We had nothing on that interior pass rush whatsoever.
What was the trade for Blacklock? That's the thing. That was probably not a lot.
I don't remember.
I think it was fourth rounder, wasn't it?
Was it? Let's look it up.
Let's see. Vikings.
That's gonna matter if it's a sixth rounder. Sixth rounder in Houston exchange for and we got Blacklock in a 7th round back.
All right, so it wasn't as bad.
So I think what's going on, Justin?
I'll lean it towards Rager then, because we didn't lose a whole lot.
I think I lean towards Rager at this point for what we got out of Rager for how much he cost us. He cost us a 5 and a 7, where Blacklock cost us, I mean, what, a 6th, but we like to move
Oh, we got a
we had to
7-pack.
move back 1 round for Blacklock. So it's
And
not
those are
really
like-
Blacklock wasn't that big of a deal. I felt like.
And he still has technically a first round pick contract on the books for this season as well. So cutting him isn't super easy.
And this is a lot of this stuff is still unanswered. The Rager deal is a known
And that's a
failure.
good-
Like the draft stuff is unanswered. Like we don't know for sure.
Right, and that's a good point
don't
as
know
well.
for
So
sure.
I'm fine with Rager at 2.
All right, let's do it. So we're gonna go Rager at number 2. Right here. So now we're getting interesting. We got 3 on our list. There could be others. And actually, someone did point out. I know Dave is a big fan of Oliver, but it was one of the most head scratching moves at the time. It looks better now once we figured out what they might be doing. But 3-year, $21 million, $7 million a year for a blocking tight end. I mean, you could argue that could be in the worst if he doesn't, contribute as much as we're all hoping for. So I think that one could be an either or, but I could see it in the worst. The trade with the Packers, obviously we let them trade up to go get Christian Watson, who did drop a ball, doesn't have the best hands. He is overhyped, but with one of the best quarterbacks of all time, he did end up getting a decent amount of touchdowns. So that's something that's noteworthy. And then we got Ed Ingram and Andrew Booth out of that, which Ed Ingram did start. We could see upstick from him. Andrew Booth could be talented, but obviously really hurt. Again, the draft stuff, just how we like the positions he's drafted in. Supplementing some of these guys that have left, some of these veterans, but at the same time, he hasn't really. It doesn't seem like he's like with Kyle Hamilton was there. That's a great example. Kyle Hamilton was there, and we didn't just go take him. We went back and ended up grabbing another safety that wasn't as touted as what's his name?
Hamilton. You just said it.
Hamilton. I just said who wasn't as
touted. Lewis Seen, who was not as talented as
Hamilton, which we don't really know though because he's. Obviously his injury, but Hamilton did kind of step up. I think
Jamie's dogging on Lewis Seen. You're dogging on a guy that just got hurt, man. He's coming off injury.
Yeah, I know, but you're talking.
Shame on you.
I love Lewis Seen. I hope he steps up, but Hamilton literally was one of the better safeties last year as a rookie.
Doesn't sound like love, Jamie. Doesn't sound like love.
I'm gonna love him. I'm gonna love him when he steps up.
I was not with Jamie on this as far, but I can see where he's coming from because we haven't had someone like really stand out yet from the draft. I can see that these players, once given the opportunity, especially the defensive players, because they just weren't getting it under Ed Donatel. No one was getting a chance under Ed Donatel.
Fair.
And then injuries, obviously.
Yeah, that's fair move.
See, Bradbury, he definitely played better this last season. Up until after he got hurt, he came back and he wasn't good.
He was worth $5 million.
Yeah,
at that price,
he got better. He got better, but in this offense, in an offense we want to be pass heavy. I don't think he's a great fit. At least you have a known commodity at center instead of having to try to draft one or find someone from a different.
It would have came down to drafting,
right? So, and with few picks, at least you have a known commodity in Bradbury that came back on a relatively team-friendly deal.
And it's something we could get out of right away, right?
Right.
That was the thing. It was like us paying $5 million for a known commodity that we weren't going to get that quality we could have got that quality, but we would have had to draft it really high, right? We would have had to draft it really high to get a guy even close to, that would have been better or the same as Bradbury. Mm-hmm. Because, as a rookie, you're going to struggle a little bit. So Bradbury at $5 million and we can get out of him after 1 year. I don't consider that a big.
I wouldn't say it was a good move, but I wouldn't say it was like a terrible move.
I think this is a good point by Gary here. Fine with Bradbury signing for continuity for this year. Because obviously the entire offense, the entire starting line's coming back. Like Ezra Cleveland, it might be his last year here. He'll be back. We're hoping for steps from Ed Ingram. You got Bradbury in the middle, and you got the two of the better tackles in football.
I don't remember the last time that's happened.
Right, exactly. Continuity on offense and continuity on the offensive line. So I think that's fair.
Remember it.
Points there.
Don't remember it ever happening.
So number 3, worst.
So we have Danielle Hunter's situation.
I weigh Danielle Hunter's situation really high right now.
I would lump this entire offseason with we're going to applaud him for the moves he made with the Kendricks and Thielen, like the straight up, like these guys just going to get cut because their contracts are too big or whatever. But the kind of, I don't know, like the hesitation he took in the whole Za'Darius, Delvin, and getting nothing from Delvin and Danielle Hunter thing, it was a little frustrating because it's like it's stuff that should have been done a long time ago and it's still not. And with Danielle Hunter, we almost feel like there was promises made to him last year and we're kind of not holding up our end of the bargain. They want to bring him back, but it's sounding like they're not. So I would say that's number 3, just because it's been a little bit frustrating. Like we should know what this team is going to look like next year, and we just kind of don't. And it took a while it just took too long for some of this stuff to come to fruition, I think. So that would be, I think for me, just Danielle Hunter, just kind of lumping it in with everything that kind of went on would make me put them at 3, or that situation at 3.
I think I'm good with that at 3 as well, just because the Blacklock thing, obviously we just seen the trade details. It wasn't that big of a deal. It was still an L. It was still an L.
I still remember it being terrible.
Yeah.
I did a video right after it and I was like, yeah, this guy wasn't even good in college. I don't know how it was a second round pick.
And then the Duke Shelley thing is interesting though, because he was the guy that we kind of all were just waiting until we re-signed him, and then we just didn't.
Right. Well, we were also waiting for Keely Ringo in the 3rd round of the last draft, and a little someone named Brian Flores said, "No, I want this guy instead." So when it comes down to that, I do think Brian Flores had a say in not bringing Duke Shelley back, because as we saw, we offered him $2 million, like or whatever,
1.2 million, and he got 1.3 from the Raiders.
So something tells me it was more of a Flores, like, I mean, sure, try, but I don't want to spend too much money on this guy on my defense. So I'm leaving that one out of this top. I'm leaving that one out of the 5.
The Shelley?
Yeah, I'd go Danielle Hunter 3.
Are you cool with Danielle Hunter 3?
Yeah,
Dave?
I'm cool with 3.
Okay. I would put Blacklock. I don't know. I'd put the draft.
I mean, so far, like this is the thing. I know you guys are kind of
These
thinking
really
like, I think they can be good, but like for me, the draft thing, like right now, since his first 2 drafts, if you were to rank him compared to every other team on how they drafted, I don't think we're in the top half. I definitely like if there's one thing that people are questioning right now about Kwesi, it's his drafting, I think.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal I'm saying behind it. I think we got a starting safety, Lewis Seen. I think we got it in the book's still out, but I think we got a starting corner in Andrew Booth Jr. I think we got a starting right guard out of it, and we got a starting middle linebacker out of it. And then we got freaking our running back and our in Jalen Naylor, so Ty Chandler and Jalen Naylor.
But these
if I'm right, Lewis Seen and Booth step up, and then we already got a starter right guard, and he makes a stride forward. That could be an amazing draft.
Right.
But also
Naylor and Ty Chandler, we all agree that we're high on that.
But that's what every fan base thinks about drafting. Drafting is all about if these guys turn out, we could have one of the, so that's a fair argument, but also I think it's kind of, you can also.
But that's the thing too, is like, but not a single one of the players he drafted, other than I think Addison could be, but anyone else he drafted isn't like a for sure. Like even our Ed Ingram, like there's no, if he plays anything like he did last year, he's not going to be in this league for long. He didn't play well enough. He's a young player. We have to give him some time, but am I going to say like who's we don't have any for sure high quality players that we can count on right now. I don't know.
I think Ed Ingram actually played as good as a rookie.
I didn't really think so.
Could play.
I didn't really. He came on a little bit late in the season, but he made, in my opinion, I know other people did have different opinions about him, but I didn't think he looked like
think about the splash. The splash mistakes.
Yeah.
You think about the splash mistakes, and that defines the season.
But then also honestly, you're looking at a 3rd round pick too. Like if it's a 1st round guy and he plays like that, you're like, okay, something's up here. But he was a 3rd rounder, right? Or is he second?
No, I was second
rounder.
But either way, like he's a 2nd round pick, so it's still like it's not like someone who you're expecting.
And he started
right away.
What up,
we didn't think he was gonna at all.
Over veterans, he started.
You know what they say, optimistic Dave. We like optimism around here. So and that I agree. Like there is
and then you throw this year. I know you guys wanted Ringo, but I did a video on the corners, and I was like, yeah, Ringo. Like
I didn't really
all his highlights for like basically should have been penalties. That's what I was looking at. I don't know what
I'll
you
be-
guys think about Ringo going into the draft. Did you think he was? I mean, I did
didn't
because
think
I heard he was
we
going to
didn't
be
have
like a
him ranked
first
in any of
rounder.
our top 5.
But I mean, but at the time, that was the guy everybody was looking at who was available when we were
Right.
picking
Yeah,
originally.
I mean,
but
I
we didn't
probably
even know
was
who
too.
Blackman
Even
was.
after
I
we
knew
picked
who
that.
Ringo was before the draft.
Well, I did
didn't
too.
know
I
who
did a
Blackman
video on him, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, Ringo. I hear he's going to be a first rounder. Let me look at him. And I'm like, man, athletic wise is everything. He's got everything, but every single highlight seemed to be. I would have thrown a flag on that. I would have thrown a flag on that play every single one. And I was like, and then he had some splash plays, like he had interception for a touchdown and stuff. So it was like, okay, I could see us. I can see he's going to be a good one eventually. But then I go look at Blackman. I think he's the same. I think he's pretty similar, honestly, as Ringo. So I could see that.
Little grabby.
And that's the thing is all these play like both his drafts could really turn out pretty damn good. Like it is too early.
It could
to tell.
still, that's why I'm not holding it against him yet.
Yeah, but it just nothing sticks out yet. And obviously he just had a second, but from the first year, nothing absolutely sticks out. Like nobody came in and you're like, all right, this guy's going to be a high quality player at least someday. We feel like that with Asamoah the most, I would say.
You were the guy big on Jordan Addison, right? Before the season?
Yeah.
Before the draft?
Before the draft. Yeah.
Yeah. I never looked at him because everybody said he was going to go higher, right? So I don't know. That's
so
honestly,
I think
Addison's
going to be a good pick, but
I agree. Yeah, I took him in Dynasty, so he has to be, right? If he's not, I'm screwed.
I mean, I love his route running in college, though, and he's got good enough hands, and
So for all the people that are really hating on Kwesi, man, it's not that easy to come up with a list of the.
Yeah, this is not a big list of worst moves, right? This isn't like, holy shit, these are horrible moves.
Right.
I know.
And some of them aren't even happened yet.
I think
I want to know why you're so worried about Kwesi, to be honest, because we're struggling to figure this out.
I think Skol Mafia's comment here is really true, and that's why I hate it when people are judging these drafts right after they're done. It's like, yeah, you can judge for positions of need and where players were ranked before the draft based off a bunch of people's big boards, not the big boards inside the room with the people making the decisions for these teams. I mean, obviously, it's fun. You have to do it for content purposes. Team wise, you have to analyze, judge, grade before any of these players even touch a football field. But it definitely is one of those things you do need to look at a draft from past years. Like you look at a lot of Rick Spielman's later drafts, he hit on like the Justin Jeffersons of the world. He hit on those picks, but there's a lot of them you read. You're like, oh God, Spielman did not draft well for a good stretch of his time here near the end of it. Like there's a lot of players. We had like 15 players one draft and like 3 made the team. Like there's a lot of picks. You're like 5 years later, you're like, whoa, what the hell were we thinking here?
Right.
And I think, and to add to Skol Mafia, I think you could decide after 2 years, honestly, because after the second year and they haven't jumped up, by year 3 they might not even be on the team, right? So it's like I think you kind of know after 2, but it depends on the kind of players you got. Like if you drafted a quarterback number 1 overall, you probably are not going to bail on Josh Allen after 2 years, right? So
yeah.
he blew up after year 3. But if you're going to draft a defensive end and he's got 2 sacks after year 2, you're like, okay, yeah, it's a bomb.
Maybe.
Wait, I'll come back to that real quick. Addison is too skinny for one.
He does look like a bobblehead. He has his helmet on.
But it's not going to really matter when his routes are so good that no one's going to be able to touch him on his routes. It's going
That's
to
the
be hard
thing,
to
separation, man. He's gonna have good
insane.
separation.
And his hands are insane. So if you have 2 of those things, you're probably at least a good start. I don't think the size really matters as much. And then you can go look at Devonta Smith to find a player similar to the same size as Jordan Addison, and he's on his way to becoming a star. So the too skinny thing is not a for sure thing. And I would 100% say I like Jordan Addison's play style more than I liked Devonta Smith's, more than a lot of people. I think he has crazy skill. It's literally just his size, but I don't think the skinny thing is going to hold him back. I did want to bring this back up that Casey brought, but we have close to 20 million now in cap space. Do we roll roll it to next year or pick another FA if FA who you want.
It always
Again-
depends. This to me,
Well, in 1 year contract, it doesn't matter.
well, I think like it depends. If we do end up moving on from Daniil Hunter, then I do definitely think you need to bring in a unique Ngakwe or somebody to that caliber. But I think they're in a good position with this. Like you have 20 million. If there's an in-season injury, you have some money. If you need a guy before the season starts, you have the money. After training camp cuts come around, people will pick up players that way. So I think it's one of those things that I'm in wait and see mode here, depending on kind of what goes on with the rest of this offseason, which goes back to number 3. We're taking a while with some of this stuff, but I think they're leaving themselves in a good position where they can make any move they want to at any time.
Right, especially the extensions with potentially Justin Jefferson. Hopefully we do that earlier than what the report says. And then TJ Hawkinson as well. And we still don't know what we are going to do with Daniil Hunter, which would, if we did sign him long term, that's probably going to take 14 mil from that at least probably. So, I mean, we have to worry about all that stuff as well.
For me, I might lean towards on this worst list, the Green Bay Packer trade, because of hindsight being 2020. Christian Watson, I wasn't high on just because of where he played.
Same. I wasn't high on him either.
I wasn't completely high on him, but now that I've seen him in the NFL and how he had just a stretch of like, holy crap, this guy's catching touchdowns left and right. And the fact that he does got really good NFL athleticism when we let the Packers go get him. I would have to say that, but we did get a return, and that allowed us to get some other players that I think are going to be good for the Vikings. But the fact that we helped the Packers out so much,
right,
to get a receiver that I wouldn't have minded taking. Honestly, I mean, even though I wasn't that high on him, I thought he was worth a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah, I wasn't high on him at all. I was really pumped that they got him. So, like, I didn't want them
I wasn't like that. I mean,
I was not on. I was like, I don't think he's a 2nd-round pick. I wasn't big on him at all. So I was like, yes, get him instead.
What do you think now?
Pickens. Now it's looking more sketchy. Because at first it was fine, but I mean, come on. I mean, he had Aaron Rodgers, but he scored 8 touchdowns at the end of the season. You can't, if you're going to be completely honest, like, you can't argue against that. That's not.
He's got NFL ability.
So, but that's the thing. It's like that they've got production out of their rookie, and we have not. We got obviously Ed Ingram as a starting rookie, and then Andrew Booth was injured. So we don't really have, in comparison, they're winning that trade right now. I agree with you.
Which receivers are better than him in the NFC North? Besides, Justin Jefferson, obviously. Amon St.
Brown is definitely
there, yeah.
And who else would be better than him?
In the NFC?
Yeah.
Or the NFC North.
That's what I meant, the NFC North.
Oh, NFC North. DJ Moore now.
Oh,
DJ
yeah, that's
definitely.
DJ Moore. Yep.
Other than that,
would the other Bear
probably sitting at
Darnell Mooney hasn't really shown enough at this point, I don't think, to be put up there all the way.
Who?
Darnell Mooney.
Oh yeah, Darnell Mooney. I'd probably put Darnell Mooney under them. Well, under him. Actually, I put Addison and then Darnell Mooney. And then
he might be
KJ's probably in there somewhere.
The 4th
right now.
5th best receiver in the NFC North. We gave him that. I don't know.
I love Watson's size and speed, exactly what I've been looking for in a wide receiver, and we could have gotten a good cornerback this year. I like Addison more.
Hindsight 2020, yeah. But considering, we may have gotten both. We may have gotten both in Boo Jr. and Addison. So we may have gotten both.
Dan, don't sleep on Addison. I'm telling you, that's the thing with Watson is he still to this day, he doesn't have the best route running at all, and he doesn't have the best hands. Those are facts.
He can stretch a field, and he's a big enough body in the red zone.
Right.
That's what he's got right now.
He's a freak athlete at his size and stuff. So that is what he has right now. And I think Jordan Addison's pretty much the complete opposite, where he has all the technician, all that stuff. He still has good speed. He still has all that kind of things, but he's not as big, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's something so that's going to be a big difference. But I think, Addison's good. I like Addison a lot. At this point, if Addison sucks, then it's going to be on me. for talking him up this hard. J-Mo is a good wide receiver if he could just get on the field.
But that's
true, but
like one of the
we can't
biggest
really
things
do
that,
nothing about that.
right? And that's one of those things that makes some players bust. Like if they can't stay healthy.
Oh, and then you got to
they
put
don't
Jalen
play.
Naylor, up there.
Yeah. And I like Jalen. Like, dude, imagine if Jalen Naylor ends
I
up
want to
really
see him
stepping up.
play, man. I
Dude,
want to
there's
get him
gonna be
out
some
there.
players. There's gonna be some players from last year's draft that could really make Kwesi a fucking genius for all we know. But it's just we haven't seen it yet. But we feel the hype. One thing I want to come back up to this real quick. Who would you rather have, Slick Rick or Kwesi? I'm all in on Kwesi.
I think Rick at this point. If I'm thinking right now, how Rick does things. We're still not 100% sure how Kwesi does things yet. With Rick, I guess they both seem very similar with a lot of like the trade backs and all that stuff. But I think there's a little bit more unknown when it comes to how Kwesi operates still. I mean, I know there's people think they know, but I think there's still some things that we don't know yet about him. We don't know what it's going to be like when he has a full checkbook to use on some of these guys, Like he's still just trying to fix things right now.
I would have to say the repair job he's done and given us this much cap room in year 2, I didn't think it was possible. So I'd have to say that this never. He's conservative, but hold it. He got the 6. What's his name? The defensive end we got, or outside linebacker. Davenport. So Davenport was like the 6th ranked free agent. Murphy was in the 40s, but honestly, I think he was probably higher than that. Free agent. I didn't think we would have got that kind of player. I didn't think we would have had a room for that kind of player. And now we got those kind of players and an Oliver, and we have 20 million left over. I'm like, I didn't think that was going to be possible. And one of the things we're going to talk about in the best moves is how he handled that. So,
yeah. Yeah, I agree, Justin. That's a good point. Like Kwesi said, it's like Christmas. We forgot what we got last year, and it's 100%. It's 100% true. It's 100% true. We do not know. We didn't get to see enough of a lot of these players, mostly because of injuries. But I mean,
and early on because they just weren't going to play him.
Right. That too.
And the reason why we don't have Ed Donatil in here is we decided that it was not Kwesi's decision to hire him. That it was Kevin O'Connell's. I couldn't find a story that said Kwesi hired Ed Donatil. It was all KOC.
Well, and coaches usually get control of hiring their own staff as well.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'd probably put Flores on pretty high in the best list if
you put Donatil pretty high on the
low list. Yeah. Yeah. What's going on, Justin? What is going on? Again,
I would say Kwesi had more to do with, well, I think it's pretty mutual because Flores and KOC had a relationship, like they respect for each other because I think they were both at the Patriots together.
Right.
And Kwesi doing his little work in the Aussies and showing up at that, I forget what, like a senior, like some senior day, NFL pro day, and they were talking at midfield. I think he was doing some work, so I think that was a pretty mutual effort on that hire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Flores.
Again, everybody in here, just like these guys are doing Skol for life, #Skol. #Skol in the comments for your chance to win a Justin Jefferson rookie card at the end of the show. Just like the video and subscribe to the channels. Everything is in the description below.
Christian Watson's little brother
in the comments. Yeah.
Christian Watson's little brother.
Say that. Rick definitely left Cam a mess. I think Kwesi's going to do a decent job of fixing it up. Is that what the comment you read? We're going to talk about that. We're definitely going to talk about that. Again, #Skol. Hi, Justin. Sup day. #Skol forever till the day I die. Absolutely. There's no question about that. What's going on, Austin? #Skol. We got the #Skols in here. Hit the like. Listen to Skol for life. You got to hit the like, man. We're giving away free cards, giving away good content. I spent a lot of time making a decent looking tier list thing compared to the one that we were using, because that one kind of was a pain in the ass. Wiggins World, #Skol. Thanks, buddy. I'm a huge Booth fan, mostly because he's a dog on the field, but also I want to hear his high-pitched voice talking as much shit as humanly possible.
We need Mike McKinnon to get into a screaming match with each other. That would be funny. He and Jerick McKinnon both have the same type of voice. That'd be
Yeah, right.
that'd be
That'd be
something.
funny. Jerick McKinnon. That'd be good. That'd be good. It's not
Who's
impossible. Yeah, hit the like button. Hit the like
I guess
button.
I haven't heard his voice, so I don't know. But he looks. But if he has a high pitched voice and he looks so mean, Boo Jr.
Andrew
looks
Booth?
mean.
Yeah, dude, you will be. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, we're big, especially I was definitely big on the pick of Andrew Booth in the second round. 100%. The guy is like Dylan said, he is a dog on the field, but the big thing is I think he's going to have a huge knack for making interceptions in this league as long as he stays healthy. But as soon as I heard him talk, I was like, part of me was like, damn, like I was hoping for like some rough, some
like a squeak toy or what?
Oh, you'll have to listen. It's pretty. Sorry, Andrew Booth, if you end up watching this, but it's pretty high pitch. We'll just say that. It's just say that.
Anyway, let's finish off this.
All right, yeah. So our final one, number 5. We got the draft. We got Shelly. We got Blacklock. We got other. If anyone else has an other, I know someone brought up the Oliver thing, which
Oliver
ended up not. Yeah,
as a bad choice.
Well, $3 million or $21 million for 3 years, $7 million a year for a blocking tight end.
I mean, could you go with other? But that's go with other and say, because he addressed the defense in a way, obviously, but could you go other in the fact that we didn't get
enough
premium, like another premium pass rusher at any point, or that'd be a draft
especially
thing?
On the defensive line.
Well, because the defense, I mean, yeah, I think that'd be the biggest thing for me.
The D line.
He drafted a D tackle, but
yeah,
well, he brought in Davenport, who Davenport has potential.
But Mozzie Smith was there, right?
Yeah, I would go with that as like the other thing. The fact that
I could say that
you could have made the defense a little better. Like we're all thinking Flores is going to help for sure, but if you look at this defense, you're like, you could see where it's still not like going to be good enough.
And it's mostly when you think of the defensive line, right?
Because he could have kept Duke Shelley and then drafted a D tackle.
Yeah,
he could have kept D Shelley for $100,000 more and drafted a big time defensive player.
And we lost Delvin Tomlinson. So we felt like, I know before free agency, Casey's like, one of the sneakiest positions of need is defensive tackle. Like the biggest.
They were playing him at DN though.
What's that?
They played him at DN the whole year.
What do you mean?
Tomlinson. He played right defensive end.
Well, in their system, the defensive end was kind of like that.
Yeah, I know.
Like a nose tackle, or not a nose tackle, but a 3-tech.
Yeah, like played on the outsides.
But yeah,
it was a money thing though. It was more money.
Oh, absolutely. We could not afford that. No chance.
We needed help on the defensive line with him, and then we lost him, and then we replaced him with Jaquelin Roy now, who we have high hopes for.
I love Jaquelin Roy.
I do like him, but he's still a 4th-round pick. Like,
right.
You're asking a lot for a 4th-round pick to come in and kind of fill Delvin Tomlinson's shoes. So there's a good chance our defensive line is even worse this year than it was last year, which obviously isn't good for our secondary and all that stuff. So I think
that's what I'm saying. You could have kept Duke Shelley and put draft capital instead of a corner that nobody ever heard of, which I like, by the way, Blackman. I think he's going to be good now, but back then I'm like, God, Mozzie Smith is still there. I think that's right. Mozzie Smith.
Yeah. He ended up not getting picked.
He's a man mover.
He didn't get picked for the 7th round.
And here's the little thing that my mind just concocted with the Josh Oliver thing, right? Like we're all saying, oh, we're going to talk about it when we get to the best. TJ Hawkinson, like it's a for sure re-signing, right? What if to save a little bit of money, you bring Oliver in on a 3-year, $21 million deal? Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
What if they think they can unlock enough from him in the past game to where they can let Hawkinson walk, take a little bit of a downgrade to a Josh Oliver? You save money there and you have more money for the future. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I still want to bring Hawkinson back because I think Hawkinson's better. I'm just saying, what if that's part of the plan? You never know.
Clip it. Lions fan wants to get rid of TJ Hawkinson. I see that, Casey. I see that happening. What if Oliver just blew up because he was known as a receiving tight end coming out of college.
Yeah. And then we're going to be looking at that
and he runs a 4.6.
But then you're going to be looking at as we got a number 1 tight end for $7 million a year, where Hawkinson's probably going to cost 10 at least.
Yeah, it's another situation where it's kind of like it can be considered kind of like a gamble, but it's another situation we don't know what's going to come out for that. It could be a genius, or it could, and his contract wasn't as bad as it looked. Like he's getting, they're not, it's not like guaranteed or anything like that. So it's not as bad as it looks. Dave, I'm going to ask you your opinion on Booth's voice next show. So I hope you take some time to check out the press conference.
I gotta no.
Just like Dan Henneman said, Oliver was a blocking tight end for the Ravens offense. He was a pass catcher in college. Lamar Jackson's is a glorified running back. And he had Dan Henneman, you make an absolutely killer point right there. This was super funny. Hopefully Flores' scheme will compensate for some of it. Exactly. That's what we need.
I think a big part of their plan.
I like Darius Rush at cornerback in the third. Hope Blackman works out though. Yeah, Darius Rush, I think, was the one who Darius Rush is the one that you were talking about, Dave. Because Kringo or whatever, what's his name again?
Ringo?
Yeah, he's the one that went undrafted, right? And went to the Eagles undrafted?
No, that was the kid from Alabama, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
What's his name? What's his name? That was gonna bother me.
I know, I can't remember.
It wasn't like Hicks or something, was it?
Close.
If someone in the comments knows, say it, because it's gonna bother me now.
Yeah, what cornerback dropped super far out, went undrafted, and then the Eagles picked him up? TJ isn't going anywhere.
Eli Ricks, that's the one. Yes.
Eli Ricks.
Yes.
Yep, that's what it is. Yep. Ricks. All right. So, anyways, refresher. The top 5 worst moves Kwesi has made as the GM of the Minnesota Vikings. Number 1, the Lions, the trade back with the Lions in his first draft as a GM. Number 2, the trade for Jalen Reagor, ended up being a 5th and 7th. At the time, it was a 4th. Number 3, everything that's kind of went on with Danielle Hunter. Even you can put the Zadarius Smith stuff in there. You can put the Delvin Cook and stuff in there, not getting that figured out earlier. And it's coming down, obviously, to this point where, it's kind of feels 50-50 and we're almost into training camp. Number 4 was the trade back with the Packers. We let them get Christian Watson, and we got Andrew Booth, who's been injured, and Ingram, who showed some promise as a rookie, but we got to see a big jump from him. And then other is not doing enough to figure out the defensive line situation throughout this offseason. So that's
linebacker, honestly.
5. And linebacker. Luckily, hopefully it's just because Asamoah is going to be that guy or whatever. But
and before we get into the best list, I want to bring up this one from Gary. Who going to win the North is your Kitties or Skull Nation? So here's the thing. The Lions, they're doing the weird, like that throwback helmet is ugly as hell.
Oh,
I don't know
Jesus,
why
who fucking made that? Like
it
the
Egyptians?
I didn't see it.
Did the Egyptians make that logo?
It's like it's a throwback thing, but it looks awful. It looks garbage. Absolute garbage.
Yep.
Absolute garbage. That's just me, though. I could be completely. I've seen some people like it. I think it's.
Lions got cool colors, man. They got. Is there a team in the NFC North that's got really bad colors?
Packers,
yes. Packers is pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Look how ugly that is.
Green and yellow is pretty bad.
It is literally waste management colors.
It's the worst colors for sure.
You like green and yellow. Who thought to put that shit together?
And then they have those. Then they have those really disgusting Acme throwback jerseys, like the blue and it's just there's no good jerseys Packers have.
It's like the Steelers Bumblebee uniforms. Those are horrible.
But like the Packers actual the Packers actual jerseys look like practice jerseys that you'd wear like in high school.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing.
The Packers are trashed. They're ugly colors. Everything about them sucks. Let's move on to the top 5 moves made by Kwesi, the best GM at the NFL. So I'm gonna go off right away, and I
think we all know what number 1 is.
I think we can at least agree that it's between hiring KOC and the trade for TJ Hawkinson.
No, KOC hiring is numero uno on this list for sure.
Yeah, you'd have to say that.
What does everybody else I'll do another poll in here. Why not? Because look at Gary says Hawkinson.
I don't know. I think Kevin O'Connell was a great hire just because everything he's done has been perfect so far. Well, not
perfect. This Jamie thinks KOC is a terrible hire.
What?
How do you guys feel about the Wills forcing a competitive rebuild versus blowing it up? What is it? Is it confirmed that they forced it, or is it like just that? Is that what people think? Because I mean, I like it.
Oh, I mean, honestly, if you're the owners, you set the parameters of why we are hiring you. I think, and I think I know someone sells their vision, and he didn't like the vision of what the Bears were going to go with, right? So that we weren't thinking Kwesi was the number one guy. We thought it was what's his name from Chicago,
Ryan Poles, yeah.
We were all thinking Ryan Poles, and then you compare the opening, the opening
Press
speeches
conference?
of these guys,
Yeah.
and Ryan Poles was like looking at his paper, going, and we're gonna take the North and never give it back. It's like, it was
What's up,
night
Joey?
and day from day one.
So
But,
I feel like, I was just gonna say, so far it looks like,
I think Kevin
and even
O'Connell
in the
wins.
poll, 6 votes, we had KOC higher over Hawkinson. So the hire of KOC, the number one and the very first move by Kwesi, hit it out of the park. Obviously, comes in
I think that's
13-4 as a
sometimes as
first-year
well.
head coach. Should have been head coach of the year. Sorry, Duval. Wait, who ended up getting? Was it Duval who ended up getting coach of the year? Who got coach of the year?
I think it was Dayball, yeah.
Yeah,
Which is
sorry,
fair.
Duval.
Which is fair.
Right.
It's fair, but not fair.
Kevin
enough.
O'Connell didn't even get a top 5 vote, which was
I
he
know,
wasn't even
some
in like the
bullshit.
top 5.
Isn't that
which is
ridiculous?
Nuts.
Am I the only person that forgets Davenport is on this team up until hearing his name? I'm
No,
always like,
I
oh
forget
yeah, him
sometimes
too.
too.
Yeah. So I was going to put him or Murphy on here, and I kind of went with, I felt like Murphy was a more important position for us because after losing Patrick Peterson, like we didn't even have close to for sure cornerback 1. So getting Murphy kind of was like, all right, like at least we have a body there at the very least who hopefully steps up and plays that position well. So I say both. So I think, I mean, can we say that then that the Hawkinson stuff was the second best?
I think so.
Probably,
Yeah,
pretty obvious.
that was, and it's crazy that Detroit got better.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
They were 1-6 at that time.
I think number 3. I think it has to be just the kind of the guts to cut the fan favorites. Personally,
I'm gonna go with salary cap myself, just because it hurts me a little bit too much to put them in the top 3.
But I mean, I think it was moves that everybody's like, yeah, this needs to happen. Like these guys need to go like last year, and they're still here.
I'd go salary cap. I think so. My argument for salary cap, 1, obviously, again, it's that had to do with the salary cap, which isn't exactly what we're doing. But them cutting them had to do with the salary cap. The whole Delvin Cook thing had to do with the salary cap. And the biggest thing is Kwesi. That's one thing people don't really, when people aren't huge on Kwesi, they don't really know yet. They don't put in the fact that he was in a disastrous salary cap hell as when he became GM, and he has really turned it around.
And he won't be out of it until after next year.
Yeah, exactly. He changed it around. There's only so much we can do. And the best thing about it is even though we were in salary cap hell and he's been able to figure all this shit out, we were still able to go get Zadarius Smith. We were still able to get Murphy. We were still able to get a Davenport. We were still able to get a lot of players. Like going into the free agency, a lot of Oliver. We going into this offseason, we felt like we weren't going to be able to get anybody, and we ended up pulling those guys in.
Yeah, we got 3 players that I think are going to be big contributors this year that I didn't even think we would get 1.
Exactly. So that's why I think the whole thing he did with the salary cap. I mean, you could have probably put free agency on here as its own little thing too. That could be other. Free agency could be other.
Because we signed 15 dudes. We kept a lot of important free agents, and then we
I'm right, we did.
And got 3, really 3 real big contributors. I think.
Okay, fine. You've convinced me. Salary cap 3, but then I think the players we cut 4 for sure.
4. Percent chance Kirk realistically does not miss games this year due to injury. Let's be honest, odds and statistics are against him. Sorry to put that in the football universe. I want to see what the odds are for a player who's
shame on you, Gary.
I want to see. I'd need to see the odds for someone has he missed a game from injury in his entire career?
No, I think he's the current Iron Man.
Yeah,
he missed the COVID. He missed the COVID game, and then I think he was. I don't know if
he missed the Bears game in 2019.
from an injury?
No, I think they
He's
just
out.
benched him because they were already in the playoffs.
But that
They
still
were
counts
locked in.
as yeah.
Technically,
Yeah,
it does.
So I would say, like, for someone who never gets hurt, I feel like his odds are a lot higher than the general odds of someone getting hurt at his age. So my guess, I would say I'm not expecting him to get hurt at all.
Me
I mean,
neither.
I would probably have to say I would say like 99% he doesn't get hurt and he's out for a game. There's a chance, but my guess is my money's against not letting that happen.
Yeah. How do we not even put hiring Flores on this list?
No, because it was a
There's no
KOC
proof.
move.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
My
so
own-
that's
my
a
own argument's
KOC
against me.
move, not
My
a
own argument's
Kwesi
against me.
move. That's the only. Otherwise, he for sure would have been on here. But that was a KOC move. So we're gonna put number 3. Everybody in the chat, they're cool with that salary. What Kwesi did with the salary cap situation, and especially being able to still grab some really.
These
good
first
free
3
agents.
could be number 1.
Yeah, you got to put this in there. His salary cap situation, I think.
But I would say the cutting the players is number 4 because I think that was just a big move to kind of show that. Well, he does seem to be like a kind of a nice guy. He's also like he's not afraid to make the moves that you need to make.
Yeah, he had to do that. He had to make business. So far he's teetered the line of making business decisions and also making. He could have done better with Daniil Hunter, but making like good player decisions as well. He's done pretty good between the line of that. So
Yeah.
I mean, I like that. So I don't know. I'm cool with that being number 4. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah. I'm fine with
You're
it.
good, Joey.
And then number 5, there's a lot of good options here at number 5, I think.
So I think obviously re-signing Harrison Smith was big. It wasn't
a re-signing, it was a pay cut
or extension. I mean,
they convinced him to take a pay
oh,
cut.
take a pay cut. That's
He's
right.
only on a 1-year contract, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so he got a pay cut. So
Basically.
okay. Yeah. So a pay cut. So that's still pretty good. Nothing too crazy. Getting Murphy could be really big. We really needed someone in that spot. Though, in my opinion, I think even though Zadarius Smith didn't work out in the long run, the deal he got for Zadarius Smith and pulling him away from the Ravens, that was some next level GM shit. And regardless of him being here or not, that was a beast GM move in general. So that would be my number 5.
Yeah, because I mean, the pay cut thing was a lot easier when Harrison Smith basically said, "I want to stay here and I will help get this thing figured out."
Well, the pay cut thing is pretty good, but it wasn't like.
Well, right. That's what. Yeah.
Getting him, the fact that he's willing to take a pay cut for us and including Kwesi is really impressive. But at the same time, it wasn't like that big of a deal, I guess. I don't know. I'm glad he did. What do you think?
I would probably put Zadarius at 5. I would guess. If these are other options, I can't really think of anything else.
Let me put some other thought into that. Like, okay, Zadarius Smith we don't know the full story, I think, about that because maybe it was one of those things where it's like the Twins where, well, hey, he's an injured pitcher, we'll take him. That he might have been maybe not past their physical, or they may have thought, hey, he wasn't good. They weren't going to sign him maybe. And we got tricked into signing him. I don't know, but he did play well for, half the season and disappeared. They talk about his pressures, but yeah, it didn't happen. I think it could be a lot to Ed Donatil. Now with Murphy, it's like, hey, there's plenty of teams that want Murphy, right? There weren't plenty of teams that wanted Zadarius Smith. I think because of the
even
injury.
Right now, I mean, some people, as soon as he went to the Browns, they've immediately are up there with the favorites to become the best pass rushing duo. Same with us last year.
I just want to put some information out there, but I agree with you.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely fair. I think Zadarius Smith, obviously, I mean, he started off hot. It didn't work out in the long run. It would have been way better if Zadarius Smith stayed
the way we felt when we signed him. We were thinking,
and especially again back to the cap situation, we were again,
and the type of contract he signed was definitely in our favor. So
yeah, I would say so.
Big time. So we'll put Zadarius Smith on the 5th one. Obviously it could, I mean, who knows, like guys like Murphy, he could step up, and if he plays anything like he did not this past season, but the season before. Same with Davenport. I mean, that could easily take over Za'Darius. It could easily take over Adam Thielen at this point with the salary cap. Man, that it can make. I don't know. You can't really. These are going to be hard to beat, but that salary cap is going to be hard to beat because next year when we go into the free agency with some actual real salary without all these fancy moves, I think we're going to really appreciate what Kwesi did at that point.
Let's be honest, Kwesi ordered a burger and fries at the Anchor Bar at Superior, but got served a shit sandwich.
Let's be honest,
Man, not bad.
Served the shit sandwich. I feel like he has done well. Wait, did he go to the? Oh, he went to the Anchor Bar in Superior.
No, I think that was just a that's what he's saying. You went.
Gary, have you been to the Anchor Bar in Superior?
Z Smith was a mercenary, and at least we improved our draft picks. Getting rid of him, Z was good against, so we liked him at the time, and he was good until the injury kind of slowed him down. And then he said that he played through the knee injury because to hit those escalators in his contract to make more money. So
and he was disgruntled. He was like disgruntled at that point too. So
yeah, but then it's like, but he also, then he was also mad that he didn't get the other captain spot too after Brian O'Neill went down. So there's a lot of things that kind of, because I guess there was reports last year. I was listening to I was listening to the Parchment Morning Show, and Corey Cove was talking about it. He said like, I guess he had heard like things were just weird in the locker room with him. So
right.
It's just eventually it did just kind of get soured out, and I don't know.
Yeah, Anchor Bar, you got to get the jalapeno cream cheese on those burgers. I'm telling you.
One of the only good things about the city of Superior, other than that, Superior is, as we call it up north, shit city.
Yeah, so so back to go through the top 5 best moves by Kwesi as our GM. Number 1, KOC, absolutely no brainer. 13-4, first year head coach. And how old is he?
36, I think.
36, 37 now, something like that. That's completely insane. He could be our coach for the next 15 years for all we know. Hawkinson trade, what was his second? And I don't remember what the other part of that trade was. Second and a fifth, sixth? Something like that. Obviously a huge steal. We use him right away. And I feel like he could potentially still be the best, have a year where he's the best tight end in the league, I think. I think we're going to see something huge from him this year. The salary cap situation, he's been an absolute Wall Street ninja with this salary cap stuff and still being able to go grab some of these free agents that we desperately needed. So that's been awesome. Number 4, sad to see, but Adam Thielen and Eric Kendricks leaving. He had to make some tough decisions for this salary cap situation, and he wasn't afraid to do it. And then Za'Darius Smith signing someone that we shouldn't have been able to afford, and also pulled him away from the Ravens. Like Dave said, we don't know what the situation was there, but we did pull him away for an absolutely team-friendly deal. So yeah, I think that is our top 5 here.
I was thinking about this after we moved into the good. I am shocked this did not come up. So I will let you two discuss for 10 seconds. Each have 10 seconds for your point. All right. Was the Kirk Cousins 1-year extension in his first offseason a good or bad move? Which list would it have gone on? Go ahead, boy.
Ooh, I'm going to say
he did make that decision. That was his decision to give him the.
Yeah, I'm going to say
off a Pro Bowl year, and you only had to give him a 1-year extension. Really good move.
I was actually hoping you guys wouldn't. I thought it'd be kind of funny just to bring that point up that it didn't make it onto either of these lists, and which one would it have gone?
I'm going to say bad, and hear me out, Dave. So obviously he came off. So I was even after that Pro Bowl season, everyone knows where I stand with Kirk Cousins. I was on team, let's go a different direction. I was ready to start younger, whatever. But that part's besides the point. So, I mean, if it was up to me, I was like, if you could have traded him, which last year we could have, because this 1 year. So that's the thing. The 1-year contract was no trade clause. So we have to remember that as well. So I thought that was definitely a bad idea.
How many teams trade their quarterbacks, man?
I don't know. That would have been a good time to do it, though. Because unless he wins the Super Bowl this year, he's gonna go away for nothing.
When he came out as a free agent, they talked about nobody of his caliber ever comes out as a free agent, right? Like there's never that guy available.
Well, I think in this situation, I don't know. In my opinion, I think they should have broke that, and they should have. I still think today.
Where would we be right now? Tell me that. Where would we be right now?
In the same
let's say before the draft, even where would we have been
right now?
In
a very similar situation right now, but maybe better draft picks.
Without a quarterback.
in a similar situation.
You think
I
we'd
don't
have
know.
been 13-4
I don't
without
think
Kirk
it'd be
Cousins
that
last
big of a
year?
difference.
No, well, that this year would be the extension. This is his extension year.
So-
So we would have had last year.
Oh, you mean this year?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
would have had last year because he was still under contract. Well, you said, well, you're throwing in trading him like he wouldn't have been there last year either. So
Oh,
that'd have been
gotcha,
even
gotcha,
worse.
gotcha.
We would not have been 13-4.
So I
And
would
then-
say
and
you
then
could
we'd be
also-
without a quarterback this year, maybe, or we would have really tried to get one this year, right?
Yeah. Yep. So I mean that's fair too. And that was also going to say though, then you could also argue from the other side that it maybe would have made more sense to give him a 2-year at that point instead of just a 1-year, especially the situation we're in with him right now.
But would he have taken a 2-year at that time?
I don't know. It's surprising that he would just take a 1, you know?
Well,
He
No,
was
I
coming
wish
off
he-
a
if
good
he were
year.
young enough, comes in with a
personally.
new coach, gets to see the lay of the land. If he doesn't,
I mean,
like
it's
it,
fair. I
he
mean,
does one more season and he goes somewhere else, or he
yeah,
wages
I
no
think
trade
he would
clause
have
and gets
taken
traded.
a 2 over a 1, in my opinion. But so I don't know. I think you could
We
argue
wouldn't have been a
that-
better team. I'm
I
just
think you
saying,
could
if
argue
we would
that
have
he could've-
traded Kirk, we would not have been a better team, but we
No,
would
we
have been
weren't
thinking
better.
about the
We'd probably been
future.
a worse team.
Yeah, we'd been thinking we wouldn't have been 13-4.
No.
We would have been thinking about the future. Who knows? Maybe we'd be starting next year in a real good situation, but we wouldn't have been better. you
Yeah.
know, so
I would say I'm pretty indifferent with it, with his 1-year extension. Though I would say I did not like the no trade clause. There is part of me like there's
if it
a
wasn't
good
the no
chance
trade
we-
clause, it would have been something else.
Yeah, but no, the no trade clause, because now it's
It would have
like,
been his parking spots too close to the building.
hey, there's a big difference between there's a big difference between those two. I think I don't like the
Pretty
trade
good.
clause.
Jamie,
I
give me
really
credit for that
want
one. Give me credit for that one, man. That was a pretty good one. This parking spot's too close to the building.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping it's not. It should be Justin Jefferson's spot.
I figured tossing that one out there at the end would make for a fun little
Casey
argument.
just it's like the person that doesn't want to talk about Kirk Cousins.
Hey, it was pretty quiet on the Kirk Cousins front for a while, so I'm back in the swing of things again. It's not as
But that's
it's not
funny,
as,
out of
it's not
all
as
those-
nauseating and old as it was before, because now it's at the point where we know he's going to be here.
And
that's
of all the
final.
Kwesi stuff,
Dude,
Like Kirk
my last
Cousins
show
has nothing
yesterday,
to do
we
with
were
it.
talking about trading him. Holy shit, man. It's hilarious.
had we not extended Kirk, we would have made a move this draft or would have traded for Lance. Worse off, 23 better off. Yeah, I kind of more agree with Justin. I don't know. At this point, obviously we know Kirk Cousins is going to be our quarterback next year or this year. The trade's not going to happen unless he wants it to. That's the part that pisses me off.
I'm gonna listen to Judd. We got 3 more good years Kirk Cousins got 3 more good years left in him.
Yeah, and his good years is kind of iffy for me.
If he's
Like, that's
anything like
not
he,
like
if he's
a-
anything like he was last year, I'd say bring it on.
I gotta go with I gotta go with him being a top 10 quarterback like Judd said.
I thought Judd was a
I
Kirk
think it's
hater. I'm
fair.
surprised. I'm
I
surprised
think
he
he's
said that.
the
And
He's
he
the
calls him the
10th
third
best
best player in the
quarterback.
team. Calls him the third best player in the team. He's a top 10 quarterback and has 3 good years left in him.
I thought Judd was a Kirk hater. Am I wrong?
He's honestly always been pretty fair. He's never really ranked him low. He just was, I felt, inconsistent. Like he would say he can't win and this, but yet he's the third best player in the team. And so. But yeah,
I'm still with Kirk.
he calls him
I think he's
weird. He calls him
think-
weird and stuff like that. So yeah, he's a little bit on the rough side with him.
Rough
But
side.
even Mackey's kind of changed his tune. Like, he's actually kind of grown on me.
It's because reality's setting in. Like, well, he's going to be here, so and maybe they're trying to get him on the show because I bet you that.
Yeah.
I think.
I doubt they're trying to get. Well, I doubt they can get him on the show after the way they've been about it.
Yeah,
yeah,
I like
That's
Kirk
They're really
Cousins
playing
is
up
the
the
person.
Netflix show. They think he's going to be the star out of the Netflix
well,
show.
I've been hearing
Yeah,
hearing
same here,
that I've been
Justin.
hearing that
You
since
already
the show
know
was
that,
first
though.
brought up.
Justin, stop trying to say that you're on the fence. Like you're in the middle with Kirk. We
That's
know
where I'm
that's
at.
not true.
That's where I'm at.
Go
I think-
watch our video from last week. Start at the 1 hour and 19-minute mark, and you will see a different story. But
Hey,
anyways,
there we go,
that's
Gary.
my
I
opinion.
agree with you. Not sucking up with GG Sports is refreshing. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Gary. We appreciate you, man. Speaking of that, I know
think
I
they're
have
pretty good. I think these GG guys got something.
Yeah.
Get them to 1,000.
We are at
Yeah.
8. We took in the last like 4 days. We went
Share your
from
friends.
759 to 838. So let's just keep.
Hey, we're feeling
keep
good
the momentum
right now.
rolling.
We're
Keep
feeling
the
good
momentum
about that
rolling.
momentum.
Keep the momentum. rolling.
But no, I'm gonna have to get out of here pretty soon, so I'm gonna run this card.
Let's get
So
her
again,
done.
everybody in here, hashtag Skol in the comments to win this Justin Jefferson rookie card. Like the video and subscribe to our channels. Everything is in the descriptions. Minnesota Sports Talk with Dave, and obviously us with GG Sports Podcast. Go and do that. Where we got these last things. So yeah, hashtag Skol in the comments. We will run this in, I don't know, a minute or so.
By the way, weekend.
Justin setting the parameters for an argument again.
By the whoa. Okay, weekend of Skol Fest. We are going to get on video and put on the Purple and Skol page. Dave and Justin hug it out.
Yeah.
Set aside their Kirk Cousins grievances and they hug it out, and it's going to be amazing.
I want a strictly
the 1 minute, the 1 hour and 23-minute mark. He screams at me in that video last week.
20,000, 200,000.
And the chat was talking about how I got emotional.
I'm telling you guys, you're gonna hug it out. And I'll have boxing gloves there just in case it gets ugly.
Yeah, Dave, he has at least 3 more good years. Skol for life. Yeah, he has 3 more. He got. Is that a wheelchair?
Nope, he's gonna die tomorrow because he's 30s. He'll be 35 in 200 days. He'll die tomorrow.
Skol.
No, he's he hasn't showed any sign of slowing down.
And it's all of our likes. Very well could be.
Let's hope. Actually, how about this? Let's hope he's still good. How about that? Let's really hope he's still good. If he's still gonna be a Viking.
Just not good enough to extend him.
Yeah, let's hope we don't win a Super Bowl and
let him win a Super Bowl, and then we still get our quarterback of the future. I'm cool with that. No, if we win a Super Bowl, I don't give a fuck what happens for at least like 10 years.
You'll hump a statue in front of the stadium.
I would do things. I wouldn't even say on this podcast because of that statue if we won a Super Bowl.
You'd use it as a stripper pole.
At least
on the Love Boat.
That's that he can't win a Super Bowl. If anyone says anything like that, means they're a hater.
Just to stop arguing with yourself. All right,
we're stopping that. Slug it out.
Stop arguing with yourself on the chat.
All right, only 11 people in this. I could have swore I saw a lot more hashtag Skols in the comments.
All right, we're gonna get a new winner here. Let's see if we can get a new winner.
Thanks,
Gary. We appreciate it.
Gary, did you get in this, by the way? Did you do just a hashtag Skol in the comments at one point? Did you get in this?
Gary's in here.
He's
in here. He just did right here.
Oh, perfect. There we go. Okay, cool. Run it.
All right, we're running this thing. 3, 2, 1. Who we got? Who we got this week? It's gonna be Justin again. Justin would be.
Sarah's probably mailed it in.
And we got Wiggins World.
That's new.
You have to be here.
Wiggins.
That's
a name.
Did he stick around?
Wiggins World? Are you in here?
Wiggins World. Wiggins World.
Wiggins World.
Party time.
I know. I'm surprised you're still Wiggins World because he's left. He was off the Timberwolves for 4 years now.
No, wasn't it going into last year?
Wiggins World is still in the building.
Let's go, Wiggins World. I'm here. Let's go. Wiggins World, are you following us on Twitter or Instagram or anything like that? Because if you haven't, go follow us on there. I don't know, because I don't think you've won a card yet. So follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever one you like, and then DM us so we can get your mailing address so we can send this card out to you.
Absolutely.
Cool. If you look in our description below, it's GG Sports Podcast on pretty much all of those, but all of them are in our description below. Just go follow us on either one of those, and then hit us with a DM, and I'll get your mailing address. No problem, dude. Of course.
Yep, absolutely. So,
and if you're not watching me, Minnesota Sports Talk, I'm eventually going to start doing more giveaways. I did some last year, and they were pretty good ones, I think. Autographed jersey of Chuck Foreman. It's pretty good, but
you clicked that, Casey?
I did.
That's so funny. I was literally out holding over it.
He said it. I'm like, I better click that up. But Anyway,
And,
we are past Jamie's 8:20.
Yeah, but one more thing. I want to bring up one more thing. The future of the Vikings defense, the heart and soul starting this year of the Vikings defense. We're going to be calling him the machine because he goes sideline to sideline with unstoppable energy. Brian Asamoah. You would have never guessed it. Let's go. Brian Asamoah. That's our guy right there.
Speaking of Brian Asamoah,
pretty good move.
Sports Podcast, we'll have a video about him out tomorrow. Make sure to check that out. Tell your friends.
Hey, Justin in the chat. Any last words, man? Any last words?
Okay, we're leaving.
Right.
We're leaving. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next week.
All right.